When did you realize your friends were actually fake friends? Went to pick up my Xbox 360 a friend was borrowing, and our whole group of friends were there. They had spent the entire day playing games with snacks and pizza, and I had not been invited. And now I was in the situation of being the douche who takes the ball home and ruins the fun for everyone. I took my Xbox and never spoke to anyone in that group again. Wait. They borrowed your Xbox to have a gaming party. Without you. What the ever-loving fuck? Okay, those guys are slime and you are so better off without such morally bankrupt dickwads. Even if the very worst case scenario is that there's something about your personality that doesn't jibe with the rest of them, you lent your friend your gaming console in good faith in the spirit of genuine friendship. Taking advantage of that is scummy. Better you find out that they're scum now, than keep investing in a dead end of putzery. Back in my first year of college, I used to have a group of friends, like 7 dudes with me included. We always hang out together and we're used to have this group chat where we discuss about anything from class subjects to random things. After a year, I noticed that one of the guys, let's just call him Randy, keeps getting excluded, not invited/informed to group hangout while they're talking smack behind his back. And the unofficial leader of the group actually made a whole new group chat, inviting everyone, myself included, except Randy without his knowledge. I know what it feels to be left out. I experienced that in middle school and it's really awful. I stopped hanging out with them and I starts hanging out with Randy. He's quite eccentric but a very good person at heart. We've been friends for more than 6 years, and he's still got my back. When I slowly realized I was only around for chores and errands. Rides to the airport, pick up furniture, help move. Anything social always resulted in either last-minute cancellations, showing up 45 minutes late and bolting after 10 minutes. I thought they were busy, but no. They stopped inviting me to hang out. They would ask me to drive them to parties, but not invite me to go to the parties. They basically ghosted me for a while. They were once such amazing and important friends, but they gradually became really arrogant. It took way longer than it should have to give up and find other people. Dude. The group of friends I gave up on would do this to this guy we know. They'd invite him to hang out only so he could drive us. One time they didn't let him into the club, so I decided to stay behind with him and watch movies at his house. He even had the decency to go back for my friends when the club closed. I'm no longer friends with them, but I am still friends with the guy, and he even helped me get together with my boyfriend. I don't give him enough props, lol. Yes. My best friend in high school used to do this to me all the time. On Wednesday, I'd ask if she wanted to see a movie Friday night. She'd always say maybe, if I can get out of doing whatever with my parents. Come Monday I'd hear her talking about how great the movie was. Apparently, last minute her parents said she didn't have to go, and miraculously a group of people called right then and asked her to see the same movie. She'd always say I figured you made other plans when I confronted her about it. In reality, she'd just wait to see what the better option was and pick on Friday. God, that pissed me off. This is the worst. I remember being in high school and trying to make plans with people for the weekend and getting responses to the effect of, I'll see what else is going on this weekend before I commit to this idea. Once or twice. Alright. But when it's every time, you just sort of quit trying after a while. I asked my ex-BFF to take the day off for St. Patrick's Day since we always celebrate together. She did. I reminded her a couple days before to finalize what we would do. Her response was, oh, I made plans with X. You could come meet us for a drink, I guess. I said no thanks, and in my head the friendship was over. She never reached out to me once. Turns out I wasn't important in her life. Man, this sounds like my friends. I work strange hours and a lot of weekends, so I let the friends know that I'm around a particular Saturday weeks in advance to meet up for drinks/movies/etc., and they always flake at the last minute. Find out afterwards they have gone out with other friends. So now I don't bother. And I don't have a lot of friends to begin with. Man, it's lonely. When I was babysitting her kids, things were going great. We would hang out all the time, have movie nights, and just talk and chill. But the second she no longer needed a babysitter was the second I got kicked to the curb. No explanation, not even a text back. Some people will act like your best friend until they no longer need you. They're lost though. Yep, this happened to me, but more generally. Had a friend who would only contact me when she needed something, but she was pretty sly about it in the beginning, inviting me over to hang and then bringing up the favor organically. Like, oh, we don't have anyone to watch the dog next weekend, or I want to move this bed but it's so heavy, etc. After a while it got more egregious and obvious, only calling to ask to use my truck or dog sit. I'd politely say I wasn't available, and eventually she stopped calling. She still texts every now and then to catch up. She tried that a few times in the past and it was always followed by a request, despite my no longer responding. To this day I cringe when someone says hi friend, her freaking catchphrase. When I returned to work after being off for 3 months due to an injury and I practically begged them to go grab a beer and do pub trivia, but all 3 of them passed because they had plans. Well, it turns out their plans were to go grab a beer and do pub trivia. Without me. Found out through social media. Deleted it shortly afterwards. I've been a lot less depressed about things since I've deleted social media and stopped looking at them as friends and just as work acquaintances. It took that for me to realize that the friendships were really one-sided and I'm better off not pursuing anything other than being cordial at work. I felt this in my soul. I'm so sorry you have to deal with this. I'm the same way towards coworkers now. I always hoped to be included, but it sucked to hear about how they'd all go bowling, pub crawling, have house parties and play video games together. One of them even asked me one time, "Hey, you coming to the party tonight?" And I asked, "What party? I'd love to." And they went, "Oh, I was just kidding, NVM." I stopped trying to have forced conversations with any of them. Sucks because I am the only pastry chef in that kitchen and finding a food service job that you can't be friendly with your coworkers is hell on earth. They'll never get freebies from me again though. No taste testing either. Fuck them. I was invited to the bachelorette party for one of the friends in this group. While at the party, I figured out that I was the only person not invited to the wedding. I had been invited to the party because they needed another person to chip in for expenses. My ex did that shit, would boggle my mind every time. She'd plan an event for 12 people and then invite everyone she wanted there. If anyone wasn't available or would bail, she'd start inviting people she wouldn't want to hang out with. She'd rather invite people she didn't like than scaling back the event. Something similar happened to me. There was a minimum group rate for 16 and they needed a 16th person. And then the night before I was told the event was cancelled. What actually happened is one of their friends who previously could not make it suddenly could go, so they invited him and dumped me. Apparently I didn't realize I was on a different tier of friendship with my so-called friend. My friend was getting married and I didn't get an invite, which was fine since her wedding was a destination wedding in a different country. I attended a sleepover party, which she hosted. There was about 9 girls there in total. They kept talking about the kick-ass bachelorette party and then started showing photos of the crazy party. I realized I was the only one not invited. Made me feel kind of crummy. I am a firm believer that you don't talk about a party in front of someone unless they have been invited, or unless you are willing to remedy the situation by extending an invite then and there. I would maintain that the same rules should apply here, even though the party in question already happened. Edit, also wanted to add, if you're inviting them then and there, you need to make it sound like you really mean it. Be enthusiastic about it. Because the only thing more humiliating than not being invited to the party is when people pull the yeah, you can come too. If you want, type of invite. 1000% agree. I had a group of friends in my mid-20s that I had considered close. These were people who were going to be a part of my wedding when it eventually happened, and were going to be aunts and uncles to my future kids, and our kids were going to grow up together. Then I realized in the summer of 2014 that they didn't feel the same way about me. There were a bunch of little things leading up to it and a bunch of little things that happened after, but 2 big things were a local wedding that I wasn't invited to and an apparently kick-ass weekend at a cabin in the mountains that I also wasn't invited to. I was feeling depressed because of the wedding and all of the aforementioned little things and some other personal stuff going on in my life, so I had begged the organizer of the cabin if I could join. It was pathetic. I said that I can sleep on the floor. I can come for just one night, just anything as long as I can come over. I was told very firmly, no. There's no more room. Oh yeah, my birthday was also that weekend, and literally all of my friends that I would have asked to spend my birthday with me were already out of town or at that cabin. No exaggeration, for a year after these events, whenever I spent time with these friends, the conversation would somehow gravitate to how awesome these events were. Like during a board game night, someone would bring a board game and go, "This is the game that we played that one night at the cabin, remember? Bob got really lucky with those dice rolls, didn't he?" And that would trigger a full-blown conversation about how awesome that weekend was. Or we'd be at a dinner and someone would go, "Where's Frank and Lindsay?" And someone else would go, "They're finally on their honeymoon. Man, remember the awesome wedding they had?" Made me feel like shit. One of my friends asked me to help plan her birthday party I wasn't invited to. I got upset and refused, and when I asked my mother about it, she said it wasn't rude and that she'd done it a few times to people. It was then I realized my mother is rude as fuck.